All right. In three, two, one, dude. Hey.
Quality
Dude,
content.
how am I getting follows right now? Dude, you look incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dude, in your background, oh man, there's not more of a background than yours felt.
What do you
God.
mean? Do you not like it?
Obviously, like, so I've known you for a long time now, and I know the way that you work, and your background screams exactly who you are. Like, just like super minimal, kind of hip. Like, why do you even have that type thing? But yeah, it's all there. I don't know why, but it's like you've got the plant.
Do you see what that yellow thing is?
It looks like a dinosaur head, like a T-Rex
Let me
head.
grab it.
What is it?
It's a 3D printed T-Rex head with like a water gun in his mouth. I printed it in college so you can put it like on a hose and then it'll like.
What
You
made
just, like-
you? What made you print this?
You just needed something to print. I thought like a T-Rex skull would be cool. And then someone's like, "Oh, make it like a gun or a cannon." And I was like, "Oh, a hose thing."
And so you ended up. So is that just screw onto the edge of on the end of a hose?
Yeah, it's not very accurate. It was like for a specific hose at the time, so it's not like it's not gonna work on everything.
Right.
Yeah, it's like really small.
And dude, like how you've had that since college? When did it make the appearance on the bedside table?
When I moved and found it in a box.
Really?
Yeah,
Where
I
did
forgot about it.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Southern Oregon University in Ashland, Oregon.
How was that?
It was awesome. It
Really?
was a cool school. That town's really cool. It's a trip.
Really? How far is it from Portland?
4.5, 5 hours.
Jesus.
Mhm.
God. And did you go there right after?
It's literally 15 minutes from like the California border.
Really?
So like literally, it's like the last town in Oregon. Yeah.
Holy hell! And did you go there like right after right after high school?
No.
You took some time off.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even apply for college after high school.
Really?
I was just working. Working, just trying to figure shit out. Did a little traveling, of course, that whole shtick.
Where did you travel?
Africa. I went to Kenya for like 2 months.
Dude, I didn't know this. Did I know
Really?
this? No, I did
I don't
not
know.
know this. You went to Kenya?
Mm-hmm.
Holy hell.
I was there for a few months. I was like 19,
Yeah?
20 at the time. 19.
We just backpacking through or what?
No, I went with so how I got invited was a friend of my dad. My dad's a firefighter,
Yeah.
paramedic firefighter, and one of his EMT buddies does the trip pretty often, and he invited me to go with him, but I went with him. So there was like 2 paramedics and then some nursing students, and it was just there to go work at like a medical clinic
Okay.
in like Western Kenya, like the
Holy
Kenyan
hell.
Highlands. Yeah. And so we just worked there for a while, and then I came back home after all that, which was awesome though. And then applied for school that I knew my best friend from high school was at, which was Southern Oregon. I was like, I want to meet up with you again.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's like go to school together.
Yeah.
Whatnot. So I did that. Actually, I started at the community college down there, did the whole prereqs,
Dude,
and then
yeah.
so the community college and then the university, like they work a lot together actually down there.
Yeah.
So it's super easy to like
To
take some
transfer
cheaper
in.
classes.
Yeah.
So I
They
just did that.
try and normally make that pretty, hassle free.
Yeah. No, they were definitely 2 schools that worked together a lot, which was nice.
Damn, and how long were you there for? 4?
5.
5? Holy hell, dude!
I kind of fucked up one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
How?
partied a little too hard. I just fucked off.
It's so weird because I obviously I've known you for a while, and I don't know you as the I'm gonna fuck everything off and just party. Like I know you as like on your days off where you've got like a couple consecutive off, you'll party.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's just hanging out and gaming, that kind of thing.
pretty much at this point. Yeah, I feel like I got a lot of it out of my system,
Of
but
course.
I mean, to be honest, James, like I went pretty hard. I've dabbled in probably every drug under the sun.
Dude,
so.
let's talk about that a little bit. Have you done psychedelics?
Oh yeah.
What kind
Acid's amazing.
is it really?
Yeah, I love acid.
What describe to me, because I've never done it. So describe to me describe to me the acid feeling. Like what give me your best and your worst. Let's start with the best. Because there's got to be there's downsides to it, right?
Sure.
So what
I mean, downsides to any drug.
Of course. So what was what's the best acid? Like, just describe to me as someone who has no idea.
It's a hard thing to put into words.
Really?
Dude. Yeah, truly. It's I guess the best word is just like euphoric. Like you feel very happy. There's lots of like serotonin releases in your brain happening, like especially as it all sets in. So you feel so like just good. And I don't know, might sound corny or cheesy, but like it's truly like what you would expect like happiness to kind of feel like.
Really?
And then it's just this great wave like that forever. And then that's like early. And then, I guess however a certain person might react to it, however much you took, whatever, like is gonna, dictate how intense your trip might be.
Were you taking it a lot, or like just like every so often, just for like rare occasions?
Every couple months, probably. Yeah.
Really? Did you whenever
with like a small group of friends? We would just,
you guys all just getting weird together?
Yeah.
That's so wild.
So I truly I had like one of the best nights of my life, like kind of tripping.
Tell me about it.
It was super fun. I was with my girlfriend at the time and my super good friend who was also my roommate at the time. We were just all really close. There was actually another friend of ours who tagged along. There's like 4 of us. Anyways, 3 of us took some. We just sort of like locked ourselves in the apartment for the night. Like it's truly we had the days off, like a couple days off lined up.
Yeah.
So we knew we're like, all right, we're probably gonna be up all night. Yeah. We're gonna be like, it keeps you up too. It like does kind of wire you. Yeah. You don't get tired. Like
wow.
You take like you're gonna be up for a while.
Okay.
So we pretty much just like locked ourselves in the apartment. Put on what is it called? Planet Earth. Got some arts and crafts out.
Dude,
took a couple droplets and then just like had some fun. Yeah. But what was good though, we were smart. So our 4th friend, he didn't want to partake, which was cool. So he was our sitter essentially.
Nice.
So he was there to just chill out. He was just like drinking beers and like he said he actually had a great night watching us like trip and just
really
like, just do silly things or get distracted by the silliest things. He thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
he just made, just to make sure we didn't like wander off or something.
Of course.
Because it can, like you said, it can, your mind can kind of turn quickly.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do pretty well on that stuff, thankfully.
That's kind of wild.
I can still do these good like self checks. Like you got to like remind yourself like you took something.
Yeah.
You're just going through a thing and it will pass.
Yeah.
Like you just got to remember that.
That's such an important thing to do, especially like especially I would imagine in hard drug areas, to be able to check yourself and go, hey dude, like this is going to end, like you'll be okay, like this is going to end. Dude, that's crazy. So did you feel whenever like coming off that stuff, did you feel like a lull? And because you talk about how it's like happiness, like that's like your true like when you came off that, was there that thought of like, damn man, like I'm not as happy as I was?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a bit. I wouldn't say as much maybe with just acid or psychedelics, a little bit. There's that come down and just kind of like, I'm pretty tired by the end of it. Like you're kind of like this exhausted feeling and you do almost just want to like go lay down.
Right.
Like, cause once it starts to wear off and you're in that weird limbo of like kind of tripping, but like kind of sober still.
Like coming off of it. Yeah.
Truly. There's like a couple hours where you're like, you're with it, but you're not.
Right.
And so it's like, that's the time you just kind of want to chill.
Yeah. Hang out.
Probably like watch something.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a little food maybe because you probably haven't eaten.
Damn, that's crazy.
You're not hungry usually, but yeah. Other like party drugs and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you definitely have that come down, that like serotonin drop.
Yeah, that big crash. Damn, that's wild. I never knew this about you. This is so cool to hear. I mean, speaking of getting weird, I'm gonna I've got this.
Oh shit! I gotta open mine.
I've got this incredible bottle of whiskey here, and I made a little old fashioned. You've got the Woodford. For most people that are watching or listening to this right now, the man himself, the man himself here has decided to grab a bottle of whiskey with me. And again, for those of you that don't know, it is 2:30 where he is, and
2:30.
and it's 5:30.
Look how much sun is coming through my window right now.
I know, there's so much.
I'm on the sun. It's hot as dude. It's so hot. It's like
Really?
Oh my god, yeah.
I
It's
figured-
getting there. It's yeah.
Now, how has the weather been up there? Has it been
I can't open this.
nonstop hot or what? Because my sister, I told you my sister's
No.
up there right now too.
Oh, that's true. That's true. No, it actually, to be honest, this summer came late. It's
Really?
been raining like a motherfucker too.
Yeah, my brother, for again those that don't know, my brother's from Seattle, up in the Washington area, and he was like, "Dude, it's just fucking rained and rained. You got it there, guy? Need some help?"
Okay,
Nice, dude. What are you having it with? Just straight?
just straight.
Had a babe. That's what I like to hear. I brought up some ice because out of all the cool things that I have up here, I don't have any form of ice maker. Yeah, there we go. Here's a big cross the United States. Cheers to you, bud. Love you. Thanks for coming on.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was. We had talked about this, having you on the podcast a long time ago, and then right when we first got started, and then the other day, literally, I just hit you up and was like, "Yo, let's get it. Let's come on the podcast. What day you have off?"
Let's talk about bidets.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of bidets, let's talk about them, dude. I want one so bad. I want to know.
Only heard good things.
I've never heard anything negative about it ever.
Yeah.
Never heard anything negative about it. And it's so crazy because obviously in Europe it's the norm. And growing up, to me, bidets are like, what? Like, water does what now? But dude, I've heard nothing but clean booties. So if there's anybody out there that's listening right now from a bidet company and you feel the need to, sponsor this podcast, by all means, we want in. I want bidets, and if I get a couple extra, I'll send one your way.
Oh, please do. What are those ones? They're like old school ones. They look like weird sinks on the floor. You know what I mean? I swear, I saw a video of some tourist or something. He's like, "Is this where I wash my hands?" Someone's like, "No, that's where you wash your ass, buddy."
Dude, speaking of washing your ass in weird places, so Kenya.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. So were you over there helping them do stuff too, or were you just kind of?
Yeah. So I was 19 at the time, and like I said, I was with nursing students, EMTs, medically trained professionals.
Yeah.
I don't have that at 19. I worked at a grocery store. Yeah.
Yeah, man, grocery store life.
They taught me some basic stuff that entry level things. I learned how to fit eyeglasses for people and do eye tests. So
really?
by the end of it, I was kind of the eyeglass guy to help people who would come in and be like, my vision's really blurry, and they couldn't really get glasses because we had a lot of reading glasses donated to us, so you could fit them on people, kind of find their prescription. And yeah, that was pretty cool. A lot of them, hadn't ever had glasses in their life, and so they could
crazy.
they could fully read their books, they said, and they'd never been able to do that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I bet that's such a good feeling too, being over there and being especially going from being a 19-year-old kid that was working in a grocery store to you're not a doctor, but you're able to give the happiness of oh my God, I can finally do this because of you. That's fucking tight.
I felt like I could do something, and I wasn't just a gopher, because at first I was just kind of running around and helping where I could with whatever.
Right.
Nothing important really.
Yeah.
So it was nice. Yeah. By the end, it got better, and yeah, it was fun. It
Where
was
were you
good
staying?
work. I grew up a lot.
Yeah,
for sure. In that small amount of time, and just I think anyone should travel to a third world country in their life. Give yourself some perspective. Even the worst of us here have it pretty fucking good.
It's
so
wild.
Remember that. And it's half of the world lives like that, more than half.
Yeah.
So it's fuck, man.
It's super crazy. And think about fuck, times right now, people take
even harder.
It's so crazy. Yeah. You talk about, more than half of the world lives in poverty. And then you look at stuff right now where people are just bitching about wearing a mask. Grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. What are we talking about?
You have no idea.
What are we fucking talking about? Today I went to get coffee, and we're in the
mask gang.
Yeah, we're in the mandatory mask now, which just got passed like a couple weeks ago. It's like a $500 fine if you're not wearing it in places, whatever. And I was going to get coffee, and they have the signs posted all outside of their outside of the coffee shop, and it's like mandatory masks. Violators are subject to like a $500 fine plus like jail time and all kinds of shit. So anyway, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do the right thing here. So I called in and I was like, hey, because I didn't have a mask. Jessica had all the masks, and I called and I'm like, hey, and I go to this coffee shop super regularly, so they pretty much like know me. So I was like, hey, can I place a pickup order? I'd like to get this coffee, whatever. And they're like, oh, is this James? And I was like, yeah. I'm parked right out front in the white truck. I just don't have a mask, so I didn't want to come in. And they're like, okay, no problem, whatever. The guy comes out with my coffee, and he's like, yeah, like, it doesn't matter. You can just come in, right? And I was like, oh, well, because of the sign and everything that's going on, I didn't want to come inside without a mask on. While he had his mask on. And he was like, nah, man, you're good. Just come on in. And I was like, dude, I don't know how I feel about that, man. I'll probably just pass on it. So yeah, man. Like whenever I start hearing stuff like that, where they're like, yeah, just come in. Like my biggest fear is, one, obviously, I have no symptoms, and I'm not gonna say I haven't gotten tested or anything like that, but I know that I don't have any symptoms. So my biggest thing is I don't want to get anybody else sick if I'm one of those asymptomatic people, but I don't want to get anybody else sick. I sure as shit don't want to get sick. And then on top of that, dude, I don't want to be we're in a culture now where I don't want to be the dude on Twitter where someone's filming me and they're like, look at this fucking guy. Everyone else is wearing masks but you piece of shit. Like that's like my biggest fear is getting put on some form of social media outlet and getting just blown
put
up
on blast.
Yeah, I don't want that, man. We're in that's such a time now where like people would rather just hop on their phone and just roast you than do, and it'd be like, hey man, like you got a mask, or like what's up?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like it's just sort of that like seems like that almost blatant disregard, like that guy said, like just come on in. Like to me, it sounds like in his mind, like he's just quite like so okay with it right now. But it's like,
see, and I'm not. And
you still have to be vigilant like, at this time. Like fucking California just closed down again. They were open for like 2 weeks, and they're like, ooh shit, that didn't go very well.
Yeah.
We have a lot of cases now. Yeah. It's like, oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, and like, think about, dude, Florida, where I'm from, has
kind of the worst of it right now.
They have the fourth largest
Florida
amount.
Is fucking
dude.
Up.
Bro, whenever shit went bad here in North Carolina, everything was shut down. Trey was out of work. Jess couldn't find work. There was nothing to be had here at all. Like, dude, everything was closed down. And back at home, dude, the fucking bars were wide open. Like no one cared. Yeah. Like I called my parents, and my parents still run that boat shop back at home, and they're like, dude, James, we've sold more boats in the past quote quarantine than we ever on record. They've been there for like 10 years. On record, they sold more boats because. So they like closed down the beaches for like a week, and during that week, everybody went to the island. So there's like an island off of.
I've heard you talk about this.
Yeah, so there's like an island off, like literally, it's probably a mile across the pass, but it's like not regulated. Like there's no enforcement there or anything like that. So everyone was buying boats and just rolling over there and getting drunk all day and hanging out instead of sitting out at the beach, like just to avoid it. Like that's crazy. And then they wonder why, like. Why are we the fourth largest amount of cases right now? Well, you fucking idiots. What are we talking about?
Yeah. And I mean, and the amount of like old people that live there too. Like, I'm just surprised more people like. It's like you don't have any like people are gonna start having like family members and grandmas and grandpas like probably getting affected, and not just necessarily old people, but even 40-year-old moms and dads and stuff. It's like.
Right.
I think it's just because maybe some people it just hasn't directly affected them, but I don't know. As soon as you hear of like one of your family members getting it, wouldn't you be like, oh fuck?
Yeah, maybe I should wash my hands, put a fucking mask on, maybe not go outside. Yeah. And so one of the things that bothers me the fucking most is the people who, like you just said, who aren't directly affected, and they are almost like, nah, that's not real. Like this whole thing is like not real, right? Or
Yeah.
like the people who are like, oh well, the flu kills more people every year than this. Like, like that's not the conversation we're having. It's more people are dying every day. Like my dad is like that, and it makes me so fucking mad because my dad is like one of the people who is without question at risk because he just had a transplant. He's in that age bracket. Like, and my dog is like just we
pre-existing conditions,
dude. Yeah, and he just man, we kept the doors open. We're selling boats. We're hanging out. Like I haven't got sick yet. I'm like, yeah, there you go. That's the mentality, bro. I haven't got sick yet. That's the mentality for sure, sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's wild. I can't believe it. How are things in Portland right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty quiet and things are, kind of open. Like restaurants is like takeout for the most part in like Portland proper.
Yeah.
Some of the outlying like suburbs and whatnot. I know there are some that you can like sit down at. I think maybe they're doing like just outside seating though, if they have that available.
Right.
But for the most part, it's like just takeout.
Is the general consensus there the hey man, we don't want to fuck with this, or is there a mixed bag of like, shut up, I'm not putting a mask on, and then other people who are just, hey, I'm putting a mask on, we got hand sand, we got everything?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like everyone's taking it pretty seriously here, like businesses and individuals too. Right. The times I don't see it or something, and it's just because I see these type of people a lot, but like tourists and people visiting the city,
right,
might not, because they're probably coming from a place where maybe it's not as affected, or That's
another thing I think about too.
Again, like you should kind of figure that out, like where you're traveling. Like obviously, it's a weird time to travel, regardless. So like, when you kind of do a little research to figure out, like, like I've gotten questions. Like people are like, they'll like come up to me, they're like, "Hey, what should I do around here? Everything's closed." And I'm like, "Yeah. Do you know why? What do you mean? What do you?" You can't just like go to the amusement parks right now and shit like that. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, man, we're not playing
like they
laser
just
tag.
expect. Yeah, like a lot of shit's closed. And it's like,
that's such a big worry.
Sorry.
Too. Is there in Portland? I know in certain areas you have to quarantine for 14 days. Is that a thing up there right now? I haven't heard anything about it, but I just didn't know.
What do you mean? Like mandatory?
Yeah, so like
quarantine?
if you fly in, do you have to quarantine?
I don't know.
Self-isolate or whatever?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Like if you're returning from a trip to like stay, like live in Oregon, or like if you're a citizen here or something.
Right. That's
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, we just hit that trip goal, and so we've got some places on the list, and right now it's looking like it's either going to be Dublin, Ireland, or Japan or Tokyo. And we're talking about going in November, the end of November, beginning of December.
Yeah.
And obviously Japan's looking kind of sketchy, to fly over there for sure. But even Dublin, I was looking into Dublin right now, and from what I read, it sounds like their borders are open, like American citizens can fly into there, but there has to be like a 7-day quarantine period by the time you get here. So like when you get there, you have to like check into a hotel and then can't leave
in the hotel for 7 days.
For 7 days.
So that's just part of your trip.
Right. And it's a fucking 10-day trip. Like, dude, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, dude, what are we, I can't.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, I can't do that. And I don't know if that's like a pre-existing condition thing, or if you, like, I don't even know how they go about like tracking that. Cause I know like whenever you enter a foreign country, you have to like fill out the paperwork or whatever on the plane. Right. But I don't know if, I can't imagine there's somebody following me being like, hey man, did you fucking self-quarantine? Like, did you like, I feel like that's not going to happen.
Yeah. If anything, they'll do stuff at the airport, maybe like probably take your temperature and like ask you a lot more questions or something.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
I'm really nervous about that because I'm at the point now where I'm super excited to travel, and I don't know if it's because like I don't do a whole lot of traveling anyways with streaming as often as I do, but it was like right when they were like, hey man, you can't travel anymore, I was like, fuck man, I want to travel. Like, fuck man, I can't go anywhere now. Like I want to go somewhere. Like I got like
it's the best and the worst time.
Right.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah,
I know. Man. I'm probably gonna go to the beach tomorrow.
Are you
drive to
really?
the coast. Man, it's like 2 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know it's kind of a drive. Just by yourself or what?
Yeah, probably.
That's what's up, dude.
Just like a day trip.
I feel like that's a super underrated thing to take some time for yourself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of people look down, and maybe not look down, but have like a weird outlook on like, oh, like you went by yourself.
Yeah.
And when in
Totally.
reality, I would like much rather go by myself. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I'd rather do
Yeah.
half the things I want to do by myself.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that.
So you're in the coffee business, surprisingly.
Oh yeah.
And
Surprise.
that was one thing that I wanted to talk about after, because things are slow right now, but in the past, obviously things were kind of booming for you in the barista area of things because you used to compete.
A little bit. I've done some,
Yeah.
but nothing serious. Yeah, like little tournaments and throwdowns, but like again, nothing serious. Nothing for like money or
Whatever. That's still
anything
tight.
like
Tell me
that.
about that.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of coffee nerds that come together and talk about coffee and crop and things like that, and yeah, arts and whatever.
And
But
you guys
yeah,
all.
I mean, it's just tournament style. It's just like bracket style usually.
Yeah, you sent me a picture
But
of the
they
bracket
vary.
that one time.
Yeah.
And so y'all just like hang out at like a random coffee shop and then brew it all up using everybody's equipment or what?
Yeah, so like usually, if it's kind of like a local fun thing, like a cafe will just sort of host it or whatever and just open their doors to like a ton of people like after hours, like once they close type thing. It's like, oh, then the throwdown's going to start. And then, yeah, it's usually like, they always have like food, like pizza or whatever and beer. And so it's like people are drinking, hanging out.
Drinking coffee.
And then, yeah, totally. And then, they'll like call your name or like on deck is Riley and James. And then they go, we'd go up and do our drinks and then they're judged and then usually like determined right there. So then the bracket can continue.
Damn. That to me is so fascinating because like I grew up in like a southern party town. And like things like that are so just not in my mind. Like I think that's so wild. Like half the shit that you've done, where I'm like, God, how? Like, is it just it's got to just be where I grew up because I don't understand.
I mean, yeah, probably. I think it's just a regional thing. Yeah,
of course.
Like it's just so normal here. Like I was super into coffee in college. Like that's how I got into it. Like the cafes, in the town that I went to school in, were like really good, and there were really good baristas and like roasters, and people just had like a ton of knowledge of coffee. So I learned from like a lot of good people and like hands-on, which was super nice. So it's like I've never had like formal coffee well, I mean, I have had some formal education in it, but like for the most part, most of my knowledge has just been like through other people and mentors, if you want to call them.
Didn't you do some traveling with Stumptown for a little while?
No, but I did work on a coffee farm in college too. I went to Guatemala. That was another place I traveled.
What?
Yeah, so I worked.
How was it? What was that
two coffee
like?
farms. That was awesome. Guatemala is super tight.
Really?
I'd love to go back. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was mostly in the Antigua area.
Okay.
Which is is that the capital? Might be the capital.
You're talking to the wrong dude. I'm a streamer, man. I have no idea. How long were you there for?
That one was only like a month.
Really?
Yeah.
That still sounds tight. What was your day-to-day operations like down there?
Fucking wake up early and go work on the farms. It's fucking hard work, man. It's hard as fuck there. Oh yeah, dude. Guatemalans, dude, I don't think I've ever seen people work harder in my life. True. Dude, they're throwing like these fucking 100-pound coffee bags like on their backs, like into like trucks and shit like that. Dude, for like hours.
That's crazy.
Dude, they work so hard. It's insane. And then like I don't know if you know like how coffee grows, but a lot of it's on like very elevated, like high elevation, like mountainside. So like coffee grows really, really well on like a slope, and I mean like a slope.
Really?
So like you're working like on the edge of like a super steep hill, like clearing brush and like picking, and like it's like you trip and you fall like 20 feet because you're gonna roll.
Holy shit! No, I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
Damn, that's wild. And you're just picking the beans out there, or what? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know
the
how
ones that
that.
are ready.
I don't know
Yeah,
how anything.
fun fact, like most coffee in the world today is still handpicked. Like they don't use machines for a lot of
Really?
during harvest season. Most God, I couldn't give you a percentage really, but if I were to guess, it's probably I'd guess like 85 to 90% of the coffee in the world is still handpicked.
Wow.
And it's like the second most traded crop in the world.
Holy shit, that's
It's
wild.
it's like under rice. It's like rice and coffee are
Dude, I did
traded
not
the
know
most.
that. You're blowing my mind right now.
Yeah, it's huge.
How long were you out there every day?
Fucking all day from like 7, 8 in the morning till like, well, probably about 4. We'd probably stop and then get dinner, and then yeah, you'd be so fucking tired, dude. You'd pass out like 7, 8 o'clock.
Jesus. What makes that area, like what makes that region, like what makes it so desirable? Like why put a farm there?
Like Guatemala.
Yeah.
Guatemala grows great coffee. Well, I mean, I should say a lot of Central South America, obviously, but like Guatemala grows really good coffee just because of elevation, climate. Really,
Right.
coffee grows best close to the equator.
Okay.
It just sort of needs that humid, hot climate
Yeah.
to
Gross.
grow really well.
Fucking kill me.
Yeah, I know. That's the downside. You can't really grow coffee in like Canada or like even the Northwest and like
Yeah.
shit like that. Like
Yeah.
you could, I guess you could grow a plant, but I bet it would probably be terrible.
Really?
Yeah. The soil is really good in those parts of the world too, because lots of volcanoes, so sort of that like volcanic ash
Yeah.
soil. It's like very nutrient rich. Yeah, like I said, high elevations too, like the Guatemalan jungles, dude. Like, fuck, I'll show you pictures sometimes.
Okay.
Like the jungle's insane. It's
Yeah,
crazy there.
that's
I had no
wild.
idea.
I never knew that. I never knew that. And now did Stumptown, because you're with the company Stumptown, which is a pretty, I mean, it's not just a local spot, correct?
No, we're definitely bigger now. I mean, shit, I'd call them global at this point.
Right.
They
Now-
yeah.
And did they take care of everything? Did they like foot the bill? Were they like, hey man, if you're gonna be a part of this, like what?
That wasn't through Stumptown. That was through
Okay.
college. That was through
Oh.
the school. My school put me through that.
Oh wow, cool.
I went with other students and we worked.
That were all
Mhm.
into coffee. Or
So
all,
this was even pre Stumptown, yeah. So I did this
Wow.
before Stumptown.
that's
yeah.
super
This is-
rad.
Yeah, this was just when I was working at the coffee shop that I was at in college, which was a really good coffee shop. We won like multiple awards too. We
Really?
won 2. They're called Good Food Awards. It's a big like foodie event down in San Francisco, and we
Okay.
won 2 awards,
Damn.
which is pretty tight.
Yeah,
And
that's-
our team was like 5 at the time.
Damn, that's crazy. So you were with like a bunch of other students that were like in your class or whatever,
Mhm.
and y'all just like
yeah,
basically like,
some of them, yeah.
and basically you guys just went over there, like actually did the work and was like, here's what it takes to actually like do this shit.
Yeah, and we, it was one to learn about the process, learning, about coffee from literally bean to the cup. Like,
Right.
what happens from here, like A to B, is crazy, and there's a lot of steps and a lot of people involved.
Really?
And learning how to do that though, like sustainably too, in like new market, learning how to properly pay farmers and workers like that to ensure that they're getting like a livable wage,
Right.
because it to be like they don't make a lot.
Right.
But certain roasters these days recognize that, in Stumptown too, like pays like a higher premium for the coffee too. A lot of it's direct trade, like you literally go to the farmer and like hand them the cash
Yeah.
and then they hand you the coffee. Like it's direct, like no middle person,
Right.
no middleman, because that's where a lot of money gets lost,
Of
or
course.
there's lots of fees and like random ass shit and
Yeah.
shipping and whatnot.
Yeah,
Shipping
shipping's
coffee
got to
is
be a
crazy.
bitch.
Yeah.
How has COVID affected the shipment of
Hmm.
coffee right now?
So far I think it's okay. It's probably slowed down a bit. I couldn't give you super good numbers
Right.
on that, but I imagine there's probably a lot of like shipping containers just filled with coffee right now,
Just sitting around?
But that's the case too, like normally.
Really?
Yeah, coffee, it's weird. There's this weird thing, like sometimes coffee and like all goods in general like will sit in containers for like a long ass time, but that kind of sucks for things like coffee, where it's like they're sort of age and time sensitive too.
Yeah.
So again, that's one nice thing too with direct trade, is like you can usually get the coffee a little faster,
Right. Yeah. God.
and then just like start roasting it.
Immediately, right? Dude, I'm so intrigued by this. Like, I had no idea there was such like a deep level to all this shit. Explain to me like the post. All right, you've gone out there, you did the hard work of getting all the bean, like everything taken care of. So the process from there goes to what?
So coffee, I don't know if you know, it's a cherry.
I did not know that. Like that's
yeah,
how in the dark I am right now.
So it's a little cherry. They're okay. They're not great.
Okay.
Like I'd rather
What do
have
they taste
maraschino.
like? Like, can you just pop them
They're
in?
like yeah, like if they're ripe, yeah, you could eat one. They're
Okay.
like just kind of sour and like
Okay.
like a sweet little berry. I don't know.
Okay.
Nothing to write home about. But a coffee bean is the pit of that cherry.
Okay.
So essentially, how the process goes, I guess I'll give you the TLDR.
Yeah.
You pick the cherries, get your your hull, and then essentially what you do is you depulp
Okay.
the cherry. You take all the fruit and the mucilage and the skin off, so you're left with just the bean, the core itself.
And are you doing that by hand?
No, that's usually like a machine, like sort of like a machine. They're like big washing pools.
Okay.
So you wash the coffee too. So most coffee farms will have these like giant cement pits, essentially just filled with water.
Yeah.
And then they dump the they dump the coffee in there and like take like rakes and shit like that and kind of like break it up. There are also like automated machines where you just pretty much throw the cherries in there and it kind of grinds them up.
Okay.
But like not in a way to where it crushes the pit,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like a depulper essentially. So then you're left with just that, and then those beans are then washed really really well, and then it's usually laid out on giant patios too and dried in the sun.
Okay. What's the drying process like?
Drying process takes a while.
Really?
Yeah, it takes like over a week for after you wash it and depulp it for it to be like good to go.
Right.
So yeah, the drying process takes a while. Because like every day you got to kind of like rotate them and shit like that.
Yeah,
they hold water really well when they're green beans. So like that's the other thing too. Like coffee, obviously when you pick it, it's not like a black roasted bean.
Right.
It's green. They're called green beans.
Okay.
Like in the coffee world.
Damn. Okay.
And they're rock fucking hard too. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Even though they're holding all that moisture.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Like you couldn't like pop one in and like chew it. I mean you could, but if you're prod maybe, and then you could. But yeah.
Damn.
They dry and then essentially they're bagged up and then put in a safe dry space until it's bought essentially. They'll do sample batches of course for like each thing, so then there are small like sample roasts
Okay.
where you can then try the coffee and then score it, and then the price of that coffee is essentially based on the score.
And
so
that's
a job for someone to literally like drink and taste coffee all fucking
I was gonna
day.
say, like, what's the rubric and who is on that? Damn. So are there like
go ahead.
Are there like specific people that are like fly around and go to these different coffee? Really? Wow.
And like certain roasters, like that's like a position where they will fly one of their representatives out to go taste and try, score coffee, and then like call back, report, and be like, okay, at this lot, this one scored like a 86, this one's like a 90. I really liked this one. I think we should probably buy up all of that. This one, not so good. Maybe like next year it might be a little better. What not? So yeah.
And what makes
That's what I really wanted to be a buyer for a while.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That would be cool.
Fly around and try different coffee on
Truly.
somebody else's dime.
Truly,
Yeah,
no, that's
that
what people do. They get to fly to like Africa and like Central South America.
Yeah,
mostly, most coffee growing regions.
Dude, that's awesome. Now, how do you even get into that? How do you like? Do you just call up spots and be like, "Hey, man, here's how long I've been doing it. I've got like the palate for it."
I mean, yeah, just if that position opens up and you see it, yeah, you could. The other thing too is like just getting in with a company like me, like it's just sort of one of those things you kind of probably got to work into and work up to, and dude, it's all who you fucking know these days. No matter
it is
where you work,
no,
or
it
what
doesn't
you do.
matter.
It's just like if you want to go anywhere, you just got to know and talk to the right person that can like
exactly
name drop
right.
you.
That is some of the best advice I heard early on, like in like early high school. It was all, listen, man, you can work hard, you can do whatever you need to do, but it's all about who you know. And I never, like, at that point in time, I'm like, nah, man, I'll outwork anybody. Like, especially with sports, I was like, nah, man, I'll outwork anybody. I'll do whatever I need to do. to make myself better. But it never really resonated until probably I was like 21, 22, where I was like, oh shit, it really does. It's all about who you know. And that is so, it doesn't matter what degree you have. It doesn't matter your skill set. It's all about who you know. Crazy.
Couldn't agree more.
So crazy to think about that. Like that's the way of life.
Because I feel like I've
is.
learned that the hard way, where someone's gotten something that I knew I deserved and was better at. I truly did. Like, not even an ego thing. Like, it should have gone to me, but it's like they had a little more of an in with that person, and I knew that.
Yeah, there is that side of things too. There's the ego. They're separating the ego and the facts, like of what. Like, listen, man. Like, this is not an ego thing. Like, I know I'm overqualified for whatever it may be, but because homie has dinner with his family every Sunday, like, of course that person's going to get the job over, someone, maybe like you or me. Like, oh, God,
yeah,
it's crazy. That's so insane to think about, but it is, man. It's the hard truth these days. That's for sure.
Yeah. Totally.
Wild.
We'll see if I get there. If not, I don't know.
Have you tried? Have you talked about doing anything like that with the higher ups? Because I'd imagine it's a little bit tougher being on the corporate end of things now, than it would be if you were with, like, say, a more localized spot that was really into it, like that had especially like a local spot that had the money to be like, yeah, we want to produce like the best type of shit.
Truly, if I was still in, or like if I still worked at the cafe I did like years ago in college, like, I probably would be doing that, because that's what. So the owners, their names Tim and Katie. I'm like, they're husband, wife, and they own this fucking amazing coffee shop, and they make incredible coffee. They roast incredible coffee.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've won multiple awards for it, and but that's what they do. Like, Tim and Katie will both like fly themselves down to Costa Rica, or they'll fly to Kenya, and
that's
Tim
awesome.
Tim will taste all the coffee that he's gonna try and buy, essentially, and then he gets to pick and choose what lot he wants, and then fly it back to his shop, roast it, and serve it.
Really?
Yeah,
dude,
it's pretty cool.
That is super cool. Have you? So that's one of my. And I don't know if I'm not trying to harp on this if you're like over talking about it, but like, this to me is so fucking interesting, because this is such a field that I've never thought to explore, never thought about it. When I think about coffee, I think about, I'm going to buy fucking coffee. Like, I'm going to go get coffee and be good. Yeah, I'm going to go be good to go.
Yeah.
But has there ever come a time where you've been like, you know what, dude, maybe I should go back to that. Maybe I should go back to the old school, the old coffee shop that you were at, talk with them, be like, hey man, like, I want to grow. I want to do, I want to be a part of your thing, but make it our thing.
Ooh, that's a good question. Would I go back to something like that? I don't know, actually. I've never really thought about that.
Really?
I don't think I would.
Really?
Yeah, like, as much as I love them and think they're incredible people, and I totally support their business and their mindset and everything they do.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, again, it's in that town too, which I know, which is like a small little college town.
Yeah.
It's like, there's not a whole lot for me there. They couldn't, like, I don't think I could find the, like, I don't know, the life I wanted.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It would be cool, I guess, if I could, I don't know, travel, obviously, but I don't know. I don't think that would be the way I'd go about it, I guess.
I feel that.
I would try and find a different route. I'd be open to it.
I can definitely,
go about it different.
I can definitely, kind of reason and like feel where you're coming from, because I know whenever you especially whenever you leave a smaller town, whether it be, the place where you grew up or wherever it might be, but like going back to that sometimes, it's like, fuck, I'd just rather not. Like, I'd rather make my own path in my own way. So I can definitely understand that.
It was a great stepping stone, though. Like,
Absolutely.
I learned a lot. Like I said, that's where I gained a lot of my knowledge and things like that. So I'll take it for that, I guess.
Yeah.
And be happy with that. Like, knowing that's where I got that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course. That's gonna stick with you for forever. Like, dude.
Truly.
How could I'm so intrigued. Like, I can't believe that you got to go to Guatemala and do that. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was tight. I'd recommend anyone do it if they get the chance, but I don't know.
I don't know if you're ready for that work.
Yeah, truly. The heat and the humidity in a jungle. Yeah. Oof.
In the jungle. Where were you staying?
It was like a hotel,
Okay.
I guess, but
Like a long-term hotel? Have
no.
you ever stayed in a
It
long-term
wasn't.
hotel?
No, I
They're
haven't.
never really nice. They're just kind of like the
Yeah.
bare now, I'd imagine in Guatemala it's way fucking I've only dealt with them through baseball and stuff like that in the past, but I can imagine in
Yeah.
Guatemala they're not that great.
Actually, now I'm remembering now. We were only in a hotel for a little bit. Most of the time we were in like, I guess it was just like a big ass house. It was like a group house
Okay.
type thing that was owned or rented by the sort of coffee supplier that the school was working with.
Okay.
So like they were
Gotcha.
sort of like our guide. Like they were housing us essentially. Like
Right.
they were the connection between the school and Guatemala.
Right. So
Like,
I
all the
want
students
to
can stay here.
yeah, right. I want to touch back on the process because again, like I said, I'm super intrigued. So the coffee's been out on the patio for a little over a week. You guys have moved it around, hanging out in the sun. What happens then? Obviously, I mean, it gets bagged up and shipped out. That's pretty much it, correct? So
Yeah, and it'll go to like a storage facility or something
Right.
if it's not bought. Yeah,
So
or
once
until it's bought.
once it gets to you, what is it like? What's the process to turn that from its bean to the cup?
To like drinkable.
Yeah,
So when it gets to me, do you mean just like stateside or like to the cafe or like to the
Stateside, yeah.
roastery? So like roastery. So like when it gets stateside, the company will pick it up, or like actually the shipping company will pick it up and ship it to the roastery essentially. So have you ever seen like a coffee roaster? Just big
they're
gargantuan
massive.
machine.
I've seen
Yeah.
massive ones
Yeah, there's big ones. But
in that roaster.
Yeah.
So
when you roast it, it takes like the roasting process for coffee to turn it from a green bean to like the brown bean that you know coffee as.
okay, so you actually get them as the green bean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. I'm tracking with
No,
you.
yeah,
now.
you get giant like canvas bags. They're like 100
Yeah.
fucking pounds. They're so fucking heavy and awkward, and you just like can't pick them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're green, and then you put the green beans in the roaster and you roast them. And think of roasting just as like baking.
Okay.
Almost like you sort of bake these beans. It's a certain temperature. It's a really steady temperature. The
And they're
roasting
moving
process
around
is,
the whole time, right?
yeah, it's It's like a big dryer. It's like
Okay.
a tumbler
Yeah,
almost.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And it's usually like a flame on the bottom of it essentially. Yeah.
And then
For
obviously
most of them.
right
They all
after
kind
that,
of work a little different, but yeah.
and then right after that it goes to the grinding process, and then
No, you want to leave it whole bean, to be honest, as
Oh,
long
really?
as you can. Yeah, it's not good to grind your coffee until you want to use it or drink it.
okay.
Coffee is filled with a lot of like solubles and like things that do dissolve in water and
Okay.
whatnot. It's filled with lots of gases too that are good and beneficial and
Right.
add flavor and complexity to the coffee.
Yeah.
So when you grind it, you're breaking that seal. You're cracking that, and you're just releasing all that gas already, all that good shit, all that flavor that is sort of almost marinating in
Right.
there, and it needs to rest. You're gonna get a lot of old heads too that say like, "Give me the freshest roasted coffee," but like that's also a huge misconception that you want coffee to rest after roasting.
Okay.
Like coffee the day of roast or even day after or 2 days after is like terrible in my opinion. Like
Really?
that's not good coffee. It's almost overgassed. Yeah.
Okay.
You need to let it rest, degas a little bit, and then to me I think ideal like espresso is like perfect like a week. Like 7 days after roast is going to be like the best cup of coffee.
Okay. Damn.
And then
Yeah, because I know right when I dove into coffee pretty religiously there for a couple of months, I would say, where I was wanting to.
You were doing good.
I was doing the cowboy, the cowboy. What's that type called? Pour over? I think it's pour over.
You were doing French press, weren't you?
Well, I had French press, and then I had the one where I had the filter up top, and then I would put
you have like a little kettle. Did you
Yeah, I
like
had
pour
the
water
kettle-
over the kettle?
and that's
so
that's where
a pour over. Yeah.
that's where I first noticed the gases that you're talking about, like the way that they would release things, the way that things would get released through that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah.
so
I
wild.
mean, that's part of the pour over process too. There's like an initial pour. It's like the pre-infusion is what it's called,
Right.
or the bloom pour, and it's just enough to like sort of introduce the water to the coffee and sort of like get the coffee moving,
Yeah.
and like ready to brew in a way. Sounds a little silly, but it's true. It works.
Yeah, no, it definitely does.
During that time and that period, yeah, you see the coffee
I mean,
it
really
grows.
expand.
It's like a mushroom top. Yeah, and that's
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's all the gas being released.
So I jumped on like YouTube and I watched some video and I was like, fuck, that's not gonna happen. Like that must be like high end coffee, like whatever it may be. No, bro, like that initial blooming process that you're talking about. I mean, it goes from you might have a couple inches of coffee packed into there, and by the time you hit that blooming process, it's doubled, triple in size with all the gases that are being released. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. And the quality. And again, whenever I had first told you that I was getting into it, you're like, listen, man, you need to get fresh roasted. Like don't, because I was buying the shit in the bag, of course. Like not from like Walmart. Like I'm not going to any place.
Pre-ground. Yeah. Super dark, over roasted.
Super dark. And I didn't start realizing that until recently. Because like I said, I go get coffee from the same coffee shop every morning. And I started to like hang out. So they have like it's set up almost like a bar to where you can kind of see what they're doing the entirety of the time. And until I started seeing how they were doing things, I was like, damn, that's not how my coffee really looked, honestly. Like, and I'm not by no means am I saying do I get my coffee from some crazy, super expensive coffee shop. It's a local spot, is cool, but even their coffee looked different than the ground shit that I was buying. Like even I could tell the difference.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's so wild, man. I think that's insane. I'm so intrigued by that. I can't believe, because I'd always known that you'd had a background in coffee, but I didn't realize that all the traveling and everything that went into it. That's so wild. Because you've been doing this now for how long?
I got some knowledge.
It's got to be like what? I mean, well over 5 years.
I've been in the coffee world.
Yeah,
I've been in like coffee world, I guess. Not not necessarily doing the same thing all the time, but oh yeah, probably 10 years, I guess, maybe 9.
Yeah, because you're old as fuck, huh? How old are you? 29?
30.
You're 30.
I just hit 30 in March.
Yeah, you did. That's right. We drank for that. That was fun.
Yeah, I went out to a bar, and then literally a week later, everything shut down because of COVID.
Yeah, God, you got the final.
I really did. I did. Yeah, actually. I was like, oh shit.
I'm so jealous because obviously my birthday was in June, and I was like, man, I was like kind of excited to go out and not go crazy hard, but it's we just moved here to North Carolina, so it would have been fun to go out and check out a couple bars here and there, whatever. But yeah, even in June, it was still like, hey man, sorry, we're not like, and that was when the riots were starting too. Like the riots had just been going hard. Like, God, we live in a crazy world right now, huh?
Truly, yeah.
Crazy. I would have never in my life expected to live in something like this.
Oh no. Yeah.
Pandemic, riots, God, it's crazy.
Yeah, everything at once. And it's just, I think it's a culmination too of people being cooped up in their house too. People are getting like antsy and like 100%. Sad and depressed, and like it's just like, it's a roller coaster of emotions for anyone and everyone. Yeah, there's 40 million people unemployed right now.
The highest ever. Like, dude, that's crazy.
And it's like, because of those numbers and like cases of the virus, it's like this isn't something that can be fixed too overnight. It's like we got so deep into this. It's like, oh my God, this is gonna take a while to like climb back out of.
Yeah,
like we're gonna go into 2021 still recovering, figuring shit out. In my opinion,
I am 100% on board with that.
Like, this was a big throwaway year.
It was. Everybody who was tweeting, dude, 2021's or 2020's our year, boys. Let's get that's gone. Hey,
I posted some meme that was like, imagine buying a 2020 planner in January. You idiot.
So fucking funny.
You just wasted $15.
God, 2020 is so fucked, man. Yeah, I never, but everyone early on, like right when everything had kind of hit and it was like really there, like everyone was like, oh shit, like this is for real. Everyone was like, yeah, by August, September we'll be out of it. And now, like even now, there's a lot of people that are like, oh well, by October, November we'll be out of it. And I'm like, fuck, man, because I got plans for November, and I'm like, fuck, man, like November, December, like even still, like there's predictions that are like, dude, good luck, we'll see you in 2022, bro. Like, we'll see you in 2020. Like, dude, that is scary.
It's like a long road to recovery. Yeah, you got to think about it like that. You really do.
That is so scary, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. I wish I had any inclination as to what was going on, but I don't have a fucking clue.
I know. That'd be a good wish for a genie or some shit. Like Drew, like when don't you just want to know like what is the world gonna look like actually like 1 year from now? I'm just curious. Like
Right.
1 year.
Yeah, no, and that's dude, that's so hard
Like
to think
this
about
is it
too.
just gonna be the same? Like is
Right.
it just fucking day to day? Like what the fuck do I do today?
Dude, it's such a scary thing to think about. Like, God, and just think about how weird. And it's new to us, which is why it's weird. But think about just how weird mask culture is right now. Just like
Mm-hmm.
even with things just being takeout and just being mask only, like it's such a weird thing to adjust to. Even just masks, like not even having to deal with anything else. Just seeing people in masks all day long. I'm like, where the fuck am I? Like,
Mm-hmm.
where the fuck are we? Because think about like, Japan and, that whole culture over there has been the mask culture for forever. And
Yeah.
I've heard so many
But
different things about that too, where it's like, sometimes it's just even out of courtesy over there. Like people are just wearing masks just for, like
that's
they
the
got
main
the
reason.
sniffles. Like we'll just put a
That's
mask
the main
on.
reason. Totally. It's more you're sick. You still got to take care of your shit in your life. So you
Right.
got to go out into the world, but you don't feel very well. Fucking just mask up then to protect others and like keep yourself in your fucking gross little bubble for
Yeah.
a few days. Like, you know what I mean?
Whereas here we're like,
I
fuck
truly
it, dude.
hope that becomes more of like a westernized thing though, like
I agree with
normalized.
that.
Like again, I don't think everyone should have to always wear a mask all the time from here on out. No,
Right.
but if you're a sick person, like if you even just have like a cold, like you said, the sniffles, runny ass nose or whatever, it's like
Toss
no
it
one wants
on,
to
be
be around that.
courteous. Yeah.
Toss your mask on, get your groceries, the 20 minutes it takes, and then you can take it off and whatnot.
I'm definitely.
I don't see the big deal.
I am on board with you now, and I think I really hope, but I really hope that translates into the future where
Yeah, me too.
because we've lived through this, and even I who's somebody who's never been fucking I'm probably the typical American who's like, oh, I'm sick, like I'll be fine, like I just won't cough on anybody, whatever. But even I've been like, dude, in the future, if anything like this happens, I'm mask on, or I'm having
Good.
somebody deliver it and drop it off at the front door type thing. Like, dude, I'm not. I hope that same mindset of thinking about other people in the future sticks through. But also, I feel like 7 days after we're quote clear of the coronavirus, everyone's gonna be back to the same
Boy,
shit.
they're gonna be fucking burning masks and shit. Yeah.
God, they're taking away our rights. Like, dude, you gotta put a fucking mask on. Get over yourself.
Yeah. Again, we have it so good still. Just people don't realize it. It's fucking smooth brains.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Oh, whatever.
Wild. It's so crazy to think about.
Shrink it away.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here we are, dude. That's a cool thing about podcasts, though, and doing stuff like this is the ability to not have to be in anyone else's. I mean, granted, there are some things that that I still gotta go do, but especially I want to start doing podcasting and stuff like this super serious as another avenue of content, and it excites me because I know that it's something else that I can do to keep somebody else inside for like an hour. Hey man, just like come hang out for an hour, bro. Like don't go outside for an hour.
You don't
like,
need to expose yourself.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
just hang out for an hour. Like I know, like, hey man, just clear your day. Just clear your day, sit at the house, hang out. Like don't go around. Who knows? Maybe if we didn't have podcasts today, maybe you'd be out somewhere eating lunch and some douchebag sneezes on you or something.
Truly. Yeah.
What a wild time, man. What a wild time.
Yep. You went to Africa though too, didn't you? Right? Your uncle or something lives there.
I did. So my
too?
godfather
Sorry, going back to travel.
Yeah, my godfather lives in Africa. He was I call him Sergeant Major. He was my dad's sergeant major in the army, and he's this dude, this big ass black dude. He is yoked. Okay, he's like a fridge, man. And he's off the west coast of Africa in the Cape Verde Islands. He was like born and raised out there. Came over to the States like early teens, I think it is, whatever. Anyways, he ended up meeting my dad, and they ended up traveling with each other literally everywhere. Like every station, he was there. But anyways, yeah, I got the opportunity to go out there and see him, and dude, what a fucking crazy world it is out there. Like that was probably my second. That was my second like real like this is what it's like not in America type thing.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
And it's super eye opening. Like I'm not gonna say that things were like, I mean, obviously they were bad, but you know the way that they live, they make it. I mean, they make it do right. Like they obviously it's eye opening to me because I'm like, where the fuck are like I haven't seen any of this stuff. But to them, that's everyday life, right? So like they make things work. They make things. They make their everyday life happen. And I really fell in love with two of the islands because there's a bunch of different islands over there. And on the main island where my godfather lived. So my godfather he brought in the ferry between the islands. So he was the one who would be like he essentially like founded the way to ship goods between islands and people. So you could take cars, any kind of goods that you're talking about, and people could hop between islands, whatever. But anyways, yeah. So I got the opportunity to see on the main island there a little fishing village on I think it's like the northwest side of this island. It's called Terra Fall. And it's a small fishing village, and I was there on a surf trip but obviously to see my godfather and stuff like that too. But so I surfed there a lot, but I got the opportunity to see how things were working in downtown and quote in the downtown. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not talking about downtown Seattle or anything like that. I'm talking like their downtown was wet markets. So like. Yeah. Literally, like, fishermen come off from the boat. Here it is. This is what we got for sale today. Like, what do you want? Whatever. And that was super, super cool, man. It was so wild to see, and it was wild to see the difference between islands. You like that island was hot as fuck, right? Hot as fuck. Fishing island. A lot of Swiss people go to these islands because there's great hiking. So like a lot of rich Swiss people take their yachts down there because again it's
shit.
So they have like a port. Like dude, it's fucking wild. Like you would see some like you immediately knew that they're the only white people there other than me. And but we ended up meeting a couple of people actually, and that was actually one of my first experiences ever smoking marijuana. Was in the Cape Verde Islands where they take they would take corn husks and use those as rolling papers.
The wrap? Oh
yeah,
my god.
So we ended up getting we ended up meeting this Swiss couple on the beach.
So a little earthy?
Dude, it was so weird. So weird.
Soily?
Yeah, it was so weird because so we were their beaches were cobblestone, so they were cobblestone beaches. There was a mix of cobblestone and then black sand, which black sand to me is like the most wild thing ever.
So cool.
But we ended up meeting this couple out there, talked with them, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you come back to our house? And we're having like a dinner party tonight. Why don't you and the whole crew kind of come through?" We're like, "Yeah, for sure, no problem." And dude, it's crazy because we got to hear this guy talk about it. But we were like, "Man, this is such a nice house." Like it was like 4 stories, and the rooftop had an outdoor kitchen, an outdoor grill that overlooked the beach break. Like, dude, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. And we're like, and
that's ideal living to me, man. Like,
right.
That simple life, Like,
well, you'll like
obviously.
you'll like this even more. Is we're like, man, this is such a beautiful house, like such a beautiful home. Like, this is amazing. Like, how long have you had it? We kept talking with him about it. Anyways, he kept like kind of going through it, and anyways, we got down to like the price of how much that house costs, and dude, let me tell you, he built that house for $75,000, dude. $75,000 with 4 floors, a rooftop kitchen. He had in-home.
It's a palace there.
He had live-in-home maids. Like the first floor was their whole floor. Like everybody lived there. Like, dude, it was wild. But now, granted, one of the things he was like, now this home building in United States would build in 3 months, and here it took like 2 years. I'm like, okay, well, so, but still, but yeah, man, it was gorgeous. We were sitting up there on the rooftop. The owners of the surf shop that were there came with us. They were the ones who were rolling up the corn husk weed. Man, it was wild. It's so it was so crazy, man. I never experienced anything like that before. Never experienced.
Gave you good perspective though, right?
It
like
does.
You said, like just seeing people live that way, and like even if you don't take anything like super like heartfelt away from a trip like that, but like just seeing that and like exposing yourself to like we were saying, how most of the world lives.
Yeah.
Then that's just something that always sticks with you.
Right.
I feel like that reminder just always pops in my head in certain moments, and I'm just like,
I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that, man.
It's like I didn't have like a life-changing fucking third eye opening moment in Kenya.
Yeah.
But I realize now.
Right. And
we got pretty fucking good.
I think that's the most important thing to take away from that too, is just to be like, because I look back on that trip now, and like I said, we hopped between a bunch of islands, and I was just a bitch the whole time, where I was like, dude, I just want to surf. Like I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to do any. I just want to fucking surf at this one spot. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything else other than that. And like I remember specifically being such a bitch about it, like such a dick. Like no, like I just want to fucking surf. Like, and to be able to look back at that now and realize, like, dude, I got to see some of the coolest shit ever. Like I got to see shit that I would never have seen in my entire lifetime. And I'm obviously a lot more thankful now and a lot more appreciative of it now. But at that time, and again, I was younger too, was being like, fuck this. This is so stupid. I want to go surf.
Yeah.
Which is just such a little kid thing to do, kind of, you know what I'm saying? But,
you realize now, though.
Of course. But you talk about things that really put stuff into perspective. We went down to, there was one island, I think it was called Praia. Anyways, my godfather, I swear on everything, dude, my godfather kills people for a living. Like that's what he does.
He had people do it for him.
Whatever it was, he murders humans. But we end up down on this island, and this island's it's just a mountain, okay? And so we end up at the base of this mountain on the opposite side that we came in on, and we ended up at the mayor of this island's house at 9 a.m., dude. Okay, so it's literally 9 a.m. We pull up to this fully gated house, like a mansion there. Fully gated, fully guarded mansion.
Was it guards? I'm sure.
Fully guarded mansion, and we're at the door. Like Nelson, who's my godfather, just walks right in, like doesn't give a shit, like doesn't look at, doesn't talk to anybody. Literally walks right up to the door, knocks on the door. The maid answers the door, and he's like, "Yeah, excuse me," and like we walk in, right? Like this is the fucking mayor's house, which I didn't know. And again, so it's 9 a.m. We walk in, and there's like a meeting of the minds, bro. There's like 3 or 4 politicians there. It looks like they have their aides with them, all this kind of stuff, dude. And
you're standing there in your fucking board shorts.
Actually, my board shorts and my backwards hat with a white T-shirt on. It's me, my other buddy.
I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, and none of us should. We're all like that's how we roll, right? And so Nelson starts talking with them, and they're like, "Yeah, we just finished breakfast." And the maids had already like cleaned up everything. They're like, "Don't worry, we'll have the maids make you guys a fresh breakfast. What do you guys want?" And I was like, "Whoa, like we don't need to do all that, whatever." And they're like, "No, don't worry about it." So they make us a feast, dude. After they had just got finished cooking, cleaning, they made us a feast, bro. And we were sitting there, we had ate, and kind of talking back and forth about everything that was going on. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. But on the TV, on their main TV there, they were watching MTV from dude, the 90s. Like
Nice,
the
dude.
90s, okay? And so right after we had finished breakfast, we were there was like that lull in conversation, and we were all watching. Like, I was in shock. I was like, dude, the 90s MTV right now, like, this is crazy. And all of a sudden, Nelson and this mayor start talking. They speak a form of Creole over there. And they start talking, whatever. And all of a sudden, my godfather looks at me and he's like, "Hey, we're all gonna have a glass of whiskey." And I was like, "Dude, it's 9:30 a.m. Like, it's 9:30 a.m." And they're like, and my godfather like gave me that look that was like, "Hey, you're fucking doing this. Like, you don't have a choice. You're doing this." And they poured up Johnny Walker Red. Johnny Walker Red. They filled like an entire one of these glasses up, and we all like, dude, like, it was like you will drink this. Like, you will drink this. And so we ended up.
Wait, how old were you again?
I was
19.
Yeah, 19 or 20, probably 19. Yeah. And like, I had never had Johnny Walker at this point in time. And still to this day, I had not. I still to this day will not drink Johnny Walker Red solely because of that morning. But right after that, immediately after that big ass glass of whiskey, we were exiting his like gates, and there was a beach off to the left, and there was a bunch of people gathering, like a bunch of them. And we were like, well, shit, let's walk over here and see what's going on. And they had caught a massive shark, a massive one. And when they were bringing it in, everyone's like yelling, everyone's like hooting and hollering, going crazy. And I was asking my godfather, I was like, so, like, why is everyone so excited about this? Like, what's going on? They were like, he was like, you don't understand. Like, that shark, like, it was a big ass shark. They were like, that they caught on a fucking cane pole, dude. Do you know
that?
Okay, so a cane pole is either, generally speaking, it's like bamboo or sugar cane, like, because it's, you know, it's thick, and
thick.
They had caught it on literally one line with one hook, one piece of bait on where they
fucking stick,
and they hand pulled the fucking shark in. Like, dude, it's crazy. So they brought this massive. I couldn't fucking believe it.
A shark's got to be like strong as fuck, dude. Like, they were trying to swim away. Like, how do you?
Huge.
Fuck,
and so,
man.
dude, it's crazy. And I was like, why are they so excited? Because, like, to us, when we catch a shark, we're like, fuck. Like, we caught a shark. Like, this sucks. Like, now we got to fight it, and then, or just cut the line, whatever. And they're like, dude, you don't understand. Like, this shark will feed half this village for a week. And I was like, oh my God. Like, that's like, and we don't even eat shark. Like, you think of like shark fin soup as like a delicacy or whatever. I've never had it.
Fucked up though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't they do it when they're alive and shit, and then just toss them back, and then they just die? Super
fucked up.
Yeah.
But you know, I've never had it. I've never dabbled in it. I've never had any reason to ever eat shark. But you know, that's one of the things that opened up my mind, was like, holy shit! Like, this fish that we get mad when we hook, they are so excited to land it on the beach because it feeds them for a week. Like, that's crazy. That's so insane to think about. That was one of the moments there where I was like, this is way bigger than, like, that's what put it into perspective for me.
Yeah, totally. No, that's awesome.
What a wild time.
That's a good story.
What
that's
a
awesome.
wild time. All right. Well, listen, man, I didn't want to, I only wanted to do this for a little bit. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you and I are hopefully going to get to some gaming here in a few, but
I'm down, dude.
I do appreciate you coming on the podcast. First time ever. I hope to have you on here in a little bit.
Thanks, James.
Again, where can the people find you at, man? Can you
I mean, you can DM me on Discord if you want. You want to chat? I'm always down to chat. Any chatters? Hit up my Instagram. It's at Ninja, and yeah, I'm around.
All right, cool,
you know where to
man.
find me.
Well, listen, dude, I appreciate you coming through. It does mean a lot, and we will talk very, very soon.
Later.
All right, bud. I love you.
Love you. Bye.